Hey, good morning, family. Good morning. Today, I'm just coming with a little insight of something that really confirmed what God had been telling me during my journey of recovering from a toxic relationship that was not ordained by God, right? And so, remember a few videos back, if you guys can remember, whoever watches me, that I said that I was watching the narcissistic survival videos or whatever, but God led me not to watch them because as I watched it, it gave me remembrance of what I went through and it kept me in a low place. And so God said, no, you're going to do this the way I tell you to. And that's through prayer and fasting and reading your Bible and meditating and worshiping because it's a soul tied to something that was not ordained by me, which got you all tied up in your feelings, which got you all tied up in your mind. And so I had to, even though the videos were very educational, God led me down a different way because God said that only through Him can you be delivered from anything, right? And so I had been led to watch a prophetess by the name of Tiffany Montgomery, which confirmed everything that God had told me about watching the narcissistic abuse videos and all that. And don't get me wrong, they're very educational. But for me, God was taking me somewhere else. And so she has a video called Prophesy as Commanded. And so she started to speak on things. And she was like, why would you call yourself something God didn't call you? She said, because of these empaths, that's something God didn't call you. And so she said that empath, empathy, and empathetic were all different. Even though she didn't go into the definition of them, I did research because how many know that God says to study to show yourself approved and with all your reading and get an understanding. So I had to see for myself. So I went and looked up the definition of empath, right? Empath. In parentheses, it says chiefly in science fiction. Fiction right there, meaning false. But we call ourselves empaths. It says a person with the paranormal ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another individual. Paranormal. Paranormal. Everything we see on TV about paranormal is tied to something demonic, right? But we call ourselves empaths. So we're steady pushing the agenda of the devil, which keeping us tied to the toxic relationship, right? So I went and looked, I said, is God in any paranormal activities? And then it said, God empowers his angels to interact with people on earth that we may experience godly activity. We cannot control or dictate God's supernatural work. We can only be surprised when it appears. Paranormal is demonic. So why are we calling ourselves things that God didn't call us? But hold up, I'm not finished. Empathy, which is something that we all can feel when we're normal, when we're in our right state of mind. Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings of another, which is different from empath, which is chiefly in science fiction, the paranormal ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another individual. Right? Empathetic means showing the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. For example, I'm compassionate and empathetic towards my daughter's feelings. Empathetic towards people. Have empathy for people. But an empath, that's not of God. Because I'm going to tell you what God said he calls us. And right here in First Peter 2:9, it says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Right? That whole relationship was dark. But he called you peculiar. And he told you that he pulled you out of darkness. So why would we keep putting ourselves in there and say, oh, I'm an empath. Oh, I'm an empath. No, that's not what God called you. He called you daughter. He called you son. He called you royalty. He called you an heir of Abraham. That's what he called you. Who wants to live a life of an empath carrying around all those burdens? Just carrying it around when God didn't design us to do that, carrying on somebody else's emotions because we feel like we have the powers to feel somebody's emotions. That's all demonic. Because let me tell you what God said about burdens. And here we go. In First Peter chapter 5:7, God said to cast all your care upon him, for he careth for you. He didn't say for you to carry on somebody else's feelings and emotions, because that's weighing you down. It's dead weight. If you will listen to all the points, empath, which is paranormal activity to feel somebody else's feelings or to have the ability to, right? Casting all your cares up on God, because if you're an empath, you're carrying somebody else's burdens and feelings when God said, put them up on him. So are we going to take God by his word and call ourselves what God called us and to give all of our cares and worries to God? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We are, because his word is true. His word is true. And I'm telling you, when God told me to stop watching those videos, because he kept me in a low place, had me remembering what I went through and what they chose to call me a tool or a utility or appliance or whatever it is, when I know I am beautifully, fearfully, and wonderfully made. Those videos just had me feeling low. Now, some will get you right. You hear me? But I had to cut it out because I had to be obedient to God. And God led me scripturally, biblically, meditation, praying, and fasting out of that soul tie. And I encourage you to do the same. If this resonates with you in any type of way, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. But God is the author and the finisher of our faith. And we're not going to go against what he says, because he called us what he called us and he said what he said. Have a blessed day.